Hello, we are testing whether arugula grows faster using the cracky hydroponic method or traditional soil. Our claim is that arugula grows hydroponically will research harvest size faster because the roots have constant access to water and nutrients. In this experiment, we controlled all variables except the growing method. Our independent variable is the growing method, hydroponics versus soil. Our dependent variable is the growth rate and height of the arugula plants. We kept the same light exposure, seed type, temperature, and watering schedule to make the experiment fair. For this project, we used arugula seeds, a hydroponic cracky setup, potting soil, containers, nutrients, and measuring tools. First, we germinated the arugula seed so all seedlings started at the same age. We filled the hydroponic container with nutrient-rich water and prepared the soil containers. After the seedlings developed true leaves, we transferred one group into the cracky system and the other into soil. To keep the test fair, both groups were placed under the same lighting and environmental conditions. Each day, we measured plant height and recorded observations such as leaf color, wilting, and overall. Over time, the hydroponic plants showed faster development and larger leaf growth. The hydroponic arugula reached harvest size faster than the soil-grown plants. This supports our claim that constant nutrient and water access can improve growth speed. In conclusion, our experiment tested how growing methods affect arugula growth. We learned that controlling variables is important for accurate scientific results. Based on our data, the cracky hydroponic method was the more effective growing system for arugula.
Hi, I'm David, and I'm working with my partner Tina Valderrama for our botany project today. To inform you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about, we'd like to demonstrate that we use the modes of trying to grow a plant, the old traditional method and using the cracky method. To understand a little further, I'd like to start off by actually describing what this is. You see, the accumulative definition that scientists have used for a long time is that it's an ethical and actually a great invention, as this allows plants to grow in nutrient-rich water, and it's very highly functional if you think about it. It uses a passive hydroponic technique, and it was invented by a doctor named Bernard Cracky. This method relies on gravity and plant biology to create an air gap for oxygen intake as the plants consume water. Overall, this system is simple and requires minimal maintenance, making it ideal for beginners and small-scale growers. It's particularly effective for fast-growing, smaller plants like lettuce, herbs, and what we have today, which is arugula. This method is named after Dr. Cracky, like I previously mentioned, and it's been widely adopted for its ease of use and efficiency in food production. On the screen, we will be showing the germination process with alcohol, cotton, tweezers, and the arugula seeds that will be illustrating many more details about our project even. To give you a closer overview of our project, I'd like to share our claim. If arugula is grown in a static hydroponic system like the cracky method versus traditional soil, then it will reach harvestable size faster because the roots have direct, constant access to dissolved nutrients and water without soil resistance. You see, for our hydroponic solution, we use potassium chloride, we use Epsom salt, and a hydroponic solution, which was really good that we got from this company, and it worked very well. Our variables for this project were that, one, our independent variable, I'd like to start off with the independent variable, was the static hydroponics, which is the traditional soil versus the cracky method. Our dependent variables were the time to reach harvestable sizes, so 3 to 6 inches, and they were measured in days along with secondary dependent variables like plant height, biomass, or leaf count. Our constants were light exposure, temperature, airflow, and humidity, seed variety, starting age, container size, nutrient baseline, and the measurable method. Our control was the plant type, and the environmental conditions, the initial growth stage, the nutrient availability in its environment, and the water supply. Overall, in our project, we actually decided to construct something. I say that in air quotes because the cracky method doesn't really have any science to it. It's just a mason jar where you transport a plant that you have already grown in soil, and you take the roots and you place it in a mason jar so that the water or the roots absorb the water. And because the water is already filled with these nutrient-based ingredients, the plant is able to thrive even more than it is in soil. Our initial procedures in numerical order were the germination process, in which the plant arugula seeds in a neutral starter allowed seedlings the same age to move them to the respective systems beforehand. There was a system preparation where we filled the hydroponic reservoir with water and nutrients to adjust the pH to a slightly acidic pH, like 5.6 and 6.5. And we filled the soil pots with potting soil. Not to mention, we got the transportation, which was the fact that once the seedlings had their first quote-unquote true leaves, we placed one set into the net pots, the cracky, and the other we set them into the soil. The fourth procedure would be the leveling. We positioned both groups under the same light source at the same exact distance and in the same exact environment. And as for the fifth procedure, we set the air gap. Specifically for the cracky method, we ensured the bottom third of the net pot was submerged as the plant grew and drank, and we didn't refill the water because this would have created the air gap for oxygen, so it'd be healthier. And as for our conclusion and our data table, here's our data table. And as for our conclusion, we said that if the arugula grew in the cracky hydroponic system and reached harvestable size approximately 3 days earlier than the soil-grown plants, the hydroponic plants ultimately showed greater plant height, higher leaf counts, and larger wet biomass throughout the experiment, supporting the claim that static hydroponics can actually be a catalyst and accelerate the plant growth compared to traditional soil methods as we had used in our experiment. Thank you.